Officials in Providence, Rhode Island recently approved a $10 million budget plan for the city's reparations program, and we got to put that in big air quotes. But some are wondering who might end up benefiting from it. Well, if you look at the title, look at what it says after the word benefit. I think that's pretty obvious right there. And $10 million compared to the trillions that foundational Black Americans are owed, that is literally a little droplet in the bucket, and literally just that. Probably a sprinkle, if you want to call it that. Like other communities across the country did in the wake of the 2020 police killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis, Providence sought to start a program offering reparations to Black, Indigenous, and other people of color whose family have felt the effects of decades of discriminatory practices. Let me just tell you right now that everything that I'm reading it reads as if it could have been an op-ed. That's exactly why we say we are pushing for lineage-based reparations. Look at who they're trying to incorporate in this, and look at how much they're only trying to give, $10 million. And that's supposed to spread out through various other groups. Let's just hypothetically say this went through. Guess who will be left with the crumbs? If you guessed Black people, particularly Black Americans, you would be correct. You get the little gold star. As the city plan is underway, critics say the program is being rushed and its guidelines show white residents could qualify based on their income. This is not reparations. How are you basing this on income? That's not how reparations work. And I'm noticing too that a lot of the PC individuals who usually would push back on reparations that's lineage based, they've been very quiet about this. Look at the date this article was posted, December 3rd. I'm recording it on December 11th for a reason. I could have been talking about this, but I just wanted to see if they was going to speak out against this, and their silence, of course, is golden. If we are truly looking for a reparative process and something to heal the harms of the past, why are we rushing Black folks to work for money they may not even know about? Justice Gaines, a local community activist, told CNN. Excuse me. The million budget plan in early November prompting the launch of the program days later. It was the result of more than 2 years of work by city leaders, activists, and scholars, the city said. Some of those efforts included the creation of a commission to study the issue of racial inequity in reparations, the publication of a 194-page report detailing how people of color have been harmed by the city and their institutions for more than 4 centuries, and a report outlining 11 major areas the city could address to the level playing field between white people and residents of color in Providence. Notice that they're not mentioning Black people. They only mentioned Black one time in this whole article so far, and that was at the beginning. And now they've gone and mentioned people of color about 3 times. Notice, like, again, it's all in the writing of who this is supposed to be benefiting, and it's only a measly $10 million. These funds move us one step further towards closing the present day racial wealth and equity gap, Elorza wrote in a Facebook post announcing the signing of the budget last month. In case y'all don't know who Elorza is, this Jorge or George Elorza is, he's, I want to say the mayor of this area. It didn't really state what he was, but he's a political figurehead who looks like the son of Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. Like, just think of Uncle Fester, and that's how this guy looks, but a younger version of him. And I don't know how it moves we one step closer to closing the racial wealth gap, because I don't know how $10 million spread over many people, especially those who don't qualify, would even help. This isn't even enough for the Black people that do qualify. If you was to do, let me continue. The program does not include direct cash payments to descendants of enslaved people, a practice which has been discussed by reparations commissions across the United States. Instead, the city's plan is to fund an array of initiatives aimed at closing the racial wealth and equity gap. I could stop reading right now, because everything else to follow would be a bunch of BS. Everything before that was a bunch of BS too. This is one big BS sandwich. A BS BLT, we'll call it that. Reparations is direct cash payments, not payment, because it's not just one. Payments with an S, plural. Initiatives include the creation of a workforce training and job placement program to help 100 residents of color, again, they doing that again, a program to accelerate investments in minority-owned businesses, funds to help the creation of Black-owned media outlets and African heritage cultural organizations, as well as home ownership fund, said Keith Stokes, the city director of business development. Each and every one of these programs are tied to that racial wealth and equity gap, Stokes told CNN. Our people and families have been in the outside looking in for fair employment, fair housing, fair educational opportunities, fair health care access, and we're looking to close that gap in the city of Providence with targeted programs and services. Because the $10 million is money the city received under the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, the program does not limit eligibility to Black residents. So basically what they're saying is this $10 million that they're saying is for quote unquote reparations. That is not something that was initially carved out for Black people anyway. This was something that they were getting from something else, I think extending back to woo-woo, the pandemic, something everybody got, which it sounds like to me, that they're supposed to spread out to everybody anyway, but they're trying to mask it and disguise it as reparations when it's really not. Don't call it reparations because that's not what this is. It's basically a rescue plan. Call it that. That's what it is. But to sit up there and try to call it reparations would be a flat out lie because that's not what this is. The eligibility criteria include Black and Indigenous residents and people facing poverty who were born in Providence, are non-college students who have lived in the city for 3 years or moved to the city to attend college at least 3 years ago. There are more than 189,000 people living in Providence according to the U.S. Census data. White residents make up 53.2% of the population, followed by 43.5% who are Hispanic or Latino and 16.1% who are Black. At least 23% of the population in Providence lives in poverty. The city has said the funding is subject to federal regulations, but each initiative has been written to clearly reflect the recommendations made by the Reparations Commission. Gaines, the local activist, worries many Black and Indigenous people who are going to miss out on the program. The application window for some grants is closing next week, and the city is taking bids for most of the initiatives on Monday. Some of the younger new business owners or nonprofit leaders may not have the same access to information as others to take advantage of the program, given proposals are due so quickly. Stokes told CNN city's officials that have been reaching out to any and all potential participants in this program. In implementation, absolutely they should. But the intent here has always been an intent to get these dollars and these policies and programs out to the people and communities of the greatest need. Dr. Danny Ritchie, founder of Community Health Innovations and members of the city's African American Ambassador Group, said city leaders were so concerned with showing they were doing something on reparations, they failed to take the necessary steps to ensure something tangible could be achieved. It is a catalytic approach to reparations, not a transformative approach that would impact nearly all citizens and be sustainable. While some funds may be awarded before Mayor Jorge Elorza's term concludes at the end of the month, the city says additional funds from the $10 million will still be administered next year. It's unclear what the future of reparation efforts in Providence will be in the coming years. Months prior to his election, Mayor-elect Brett Smiley said in a candidate forum he will continue the program but did not discuss any details, which means they're probably going to rework an even more bastardized version of this. CNN reached out to Smiley for comment. Crap. They can take this, ball it up, throw it in the trash can, and set the trash can on fire. No, take this, ball it up, throw it in the trash can, throw the trash can into a dumpster and set the dumpster on fire. Because that's exactly what this is. One big dumpster fire. This is not reparations. I don't know what this is. And the Black people of Providence need to raise hell about this, or even the whole state of Rhode Island for that matter, for those who will qualify. Because this is not it. And shout out to Rob over at Blacklight Revelations, because he was the one that I saw talk about this at length on one of his recent live streams. I don't know what this is. This is very foreign to me, but I see what they're trying to do, and it's not going to work. The black people up there who will qualify for actual tangibles and reparations needs to push back against this as hard as fast as they possibly can before they try to go forward with it. Because this is really what they want to push. You know how these other groups get mad when FBA says we need our tangibles, we need reparations, and all this, that, and the third, and they give us all this pushback because we don't want to do it. I mean, because they don't want to do it. When they see something like this, it probably puts a smile across their face because now they see that they can benefit from it, and they'll probably benefit the most. That's really all it is. That's what the pushback is for. The pushback is always, it hasn't been because we're getting something. It's because they're not getting something from it. It's only just for us. If the tangibles and reparations are not lineage based like they should be, as in we cannot trace your lineage back to antebellum slavery or before 1870 in here in this establishment, well 1865 I should say, then you don't qualify. And that's all there is to it. So they can take this little thing or whatever and shove it. Like, again, this is supposed to be the America Rescue Plan. This is something that's benefiting everybody that I know many states have been doing for other people. But to call this reparations, that's like, again, a lie and a scam as far as I'm concerned.